Hello everyone, happy Friday! Okay, so today's live is on all things countertops. So we're going to cover 3 topics within countertops. Materials, color considerations and why, and then which comes first. It's sort of the chicken and the egg. So we will answer that today. So the first thing is material. So we're going to talk about granite, quartz, marble, and soapstone. Those are very common, very prevalent, very lovely countertop surfaces. So first thing, granite. Granite, this happens to be a piece, a very small section of an entire slab of granite. Now slabs tend to be as high as a person and very, very long. They're huge. And so this particular granite piece is a very, very small section of what potentially this slab could look like. So granite has a lot of different minerals, a lot of different materials that actually make up the countertop, the coloring, the material within it, which determines really the price point for the granite. So price point on granite tends to be availability and where it's coming from. So in recent, supply chains, there are some locations where we just can't get slabs from. And so if there's 10 slabs in the world, the price point on that's going to be significantly higher of an investment versus something that's readily available in multiple locations. So we'll touch on why you would do granite in our next topic of color considerations. Granite has all kinds of coloring, all kinds of patterns. Granite is a natural occurring product. So this got cut out of the earth and has been polished. So it's natural. It comes from the earth. It is 100% earth made by Mother Nature. So the next thing we're going to cover is quartz. So quartz itself is a Mother Nature made product. Now, quartz also occurs in granite in varying degrees. So if you go to a granite yard and you see a piece of granite, it's not super easy to see on this one, but sort of the whitish pieces are likely quartz. So quartz itself is a crystal material, and so when a quartz product like Cambria is made, there are different sizes of quartz pieces that are put together with resin and colorant so that you get these lovely pieces of quartz. So one thing about quartz, Cambria in particular, it is NSF certified, which that means to you is you can put this in a commercial kitchen because it's non-porous and it's non-staining. So you can use this if you have a commercial kitchen. You can use this if you don't have a commercial kitchen. And so quartz itself is, there's a few different color patterns. Well, there's several, but when it comes to granite, there's everything as an option because it comes from the earth. Quartz is sort of this style and this style and this style. And so they are man-made because they take different sizes of quartz pieces, resin and colorant, and basically create the slabs, and then you have your countertop slab. And so those are large as well. Not necessarily as large as granite slabs. It sort of depends on, for granite, how big they can mine those out of the earth. And so the quartz Cambria slabs are specific sizes because they are made to those sizes. So then marble. Our next surface type is marble. It has been super, super popular in recent years. It is super lovely. That is also Mother Nature made. So that's totally, you know, it is natural in that Mother Nature made that piece. So over time, if you have a Calcutta marble, which is the white with the gray going through, as it ages, there's going to be some rust pieces that go through. It is a little bit more porous, and so you have to be really, really careful about cleaning up any spills, and it can stain, and so you just have to be really careful with marble. It's super lovely. It's very classic. I love it, although, and we'll talk about that in the next part of color considerations, Cambria does make a marble looking quartz, and so there's that option if you're not wanting to, you know, have a little more maintenance with your countertop. Okay, so soapstone is super, super lovely. I guess we didn't cover quartzite. That's lovely too. Different than quartz. So soapstone is a soft material. It is more in like a, not rustic, but it has a very soft appearance. It's great provided you're okay with scratches and things of that nature, because it is a very soft material. And so that's just part of the look and the style and the feel, if that's what you're going for in your kitchen bar, you know, whatever. Okay, so those are countertop surfaces. And actually quartzite, the cover page for the Facebook Live scheduled thing is a piece of quartzite. And so that is a higher price point than many granites, only because, again, the materials that go into the granite, what it's made of, and then supply and demand. So those are the materials. Okay, on to color considerations. The biggest thing is, what else do you have going on in your room, in your space? So in your kitchen, you want to consider, what is your backsplash? What are the style of your lights? I'm assuming island or dinette. Cabinet style. We talked about cabinet style last week. So cabinet style being wood species, the door style, and the stain or the paint. And so you really want to make sure that you're getting contrast between everything. You don't want it, monochromatic is a color scheme, but you have to be really careful if you're doing monochromatic, because you still want it to be interesting for the eye to look at. You want your eye to be drawn around the room, but just in general, there needs to be color contrast between all of your finishes and all of your selections. So you always consider, what do you have already going on in your space, or do you plan to? What is your flooring? What do you want to be the main feature? So do you want your countertop to say, hey, I am the coolest thing in this room? Or is it all kind of blending and everything kind of has its own bedazzly wow effect, which is okay too. So you really want to think about all of the things happening in the room. Everything needs to blend, everything needs to have, if not everything having its own little wow, you want one thing that's very super amazing. Okay, color considerations, topic number 2. Are you a linen person or a polyester person? We talked about this last week. If you are a linen person, you will love granite and soapstone and quartzite and marble, because they're earth made. There's variations. In this particular granite piece, this is a very soft part of the whole slab. The other part of the slab is really dark and swirly. So you have to like that kind of thing. Now, if you decided you're more of a polyester person, you don't like wrinkles, you don't, like that color variation, you don't like knots in your wood, you like things to be pretty consistent, hey, guess what? Probably a quartz product like Cambria is perhaps a super, super option for you, because you're going to be able to see the whole slab. This is what it is. There's no extra additional, splotches of color or odd little swirly things over here. And so it's going to be really consistent. So that is something to think about also when you're selecting your countertops. Linen person, polyester person, which one are you? There are some granites that are a little bit more consistent. The way I feel is if you're going to get a natural product like granite, you should probably have a lot of character in that granite piece, because, that's the fun of granite, is you can get some really swirly color variations and fun things going on. Okay, so variety of colors. We kind of touched on this a little bit. Color considerations. Sometimes when I'm working with a client, if they're totally open and all options are, basically pretty good options for them, they're not specific to one, they like linen, they like polyester, there's no specific direction. Sometimes it will really depend on, this is what we have going on, and so these are the color options that we have available. Maybe there's nothing really we like or that goes with or has that feel that's in granite, but then there's something in a quartz or Cambria that is really fitting the bill. And maybe neither of those, and so we move to a quartzite or a marble or an onyx or something like that. And so sometimes it comes down to which product has the color variation, the style that is going to go with all of the things that we have and the style we're trying to accomplish. So, the third and final topic of countertops. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? For countertops, there is no chicken, there is no egg, but which product, which color, where do you begin? That's what everybody wants to know. Where do I start? Because there's all of these options. Okay, here it is. You start with the smallest and you work your way out. So if a client comes to me and says, I really love soapstone, there's few options of soapstone. So we're going to start there, and then we will build the design off of that. If we have a custom hand-painted, one-of-a-kind backsplash accent, we're going to start there because there's like one option in the world. So you always start with the fewest available options and work your way out, because there's a gazillion paints. Like, how many paint options for white are there really? More than one or two. So, select the thing that you have the fewest options of. There's all kinds of things, for flooring, but maybe there's a specific type of flooring that really catches your eye, and there's, a few stain options that are going to work on your, hardwood or whatever. So sometimes countertop is going to be at the top of that triangle, and sometimes it's going to be at the bottom of the triangle, or somewhere in the middle. So that is the chicken and the egg. The particular project I'm working on right now, we have a quartzite selected for the kitchen. It's actually the picture on the cover. It's super amazing. It's the most lovely piece of stone. And that particular piece really tells a great story of how all of the colors in the house are in this stone. And the kitchen is the heart of the home. That's where everybody hangs out. That's where it is going to be the centerpiece of the kitchen. There's a few other really cool items. But that particular countertop is so lovely. It fits the house, the home, and the client very, very well. And it's lovely. There's no way around it. You'll be able to see that, in several weeks. That'll be getting measured soon, and then it will be fabricated and installed. But that's another side note. Depending on what you select, that can also, have a really great story. And maybe you went to the granite yard and saw a bunch of options, and they're okay. And then you saw this slab, and your heart was like jumping for joy, because that is it. You can see yourself hanging around the bar with your friends, having some drinks and chatting about, all things in life, and just hanging out and spending time and creating memories around this fantastic piece of stone that, you spent hours looking at or searching for, or, whatever it is. Countertops can be pretty impactful, actually. So, anyways, until next week. What is next week? I'm not even sure. Maybe we'll talk about lighting. I love lighting. So, next week, 9 o'clock Central, again, I will see you right back here, and we'll talk about another topic for kitchens, possibly lighting. Have a great weekend.